Hello, I'm Thomas Wieberneit with Head CRM. I'm here with Adrian Castellanos of Selectra. He's working there as a data engineer, and our topic is, well, the Selectra story with Zoho. Starting with the basics. What the heck is Selectra about?
We are the weird company. We are a French company that is specialized on helping customers comparing and helping them moving from energy providers, also telecom providers, but that's secondary. We were born in the energy marketing in Europe. The company was founded in 2010 in France, and since then we have presence in 13 countries. We're trying to help everyone everywhere. And then we commission the providers to manage the sale.
Customer being B2C or also B2B customers?
Mainly B2C. We also do B2B, but usually you require more expert approach that we provide as well, but it requires a specialized department for that. The energy consumption of a factory is way different than a normal house. Our approach is to be available for the human contact, so we provide really big call center. So we avoid that trend that there was 10 years ago, and this is still in place, where energy companies were hiding their phone numbers. We were the other way around. No, we are going to provide phone numbers. You are going to have someone that is going to help you in your problem, and it's going to go step by step with you, and it's going to teach you, hey, this is the energy market, this is how it works, and this is how you can improve your energy bill.
Okay, so obviously quite data intensive project and process, and well, you're a data engineer, so that alludes to it. What in the course of what Selectra is doing and what you did in the Zoho project, what keeps you alive? Alive is good. Awake at night.
So due to the we are a company, a digital company. We are really dependent on SEO and SEA, and SEO can be a little bit like the wind. It changes without previous warning. So the thing that keeps me awake is that our reporting can get old pretty quickly because we need to respond to, hey, we need to have projects that have to run, that have to start really quickly, and we need to have the data to allocate the right resources in the right place. And that's a thing where Zoho Analytics in particular, any BI tool would have done it, but for specifics, we choose Zoho Analytics. It's helping because it allows us really quickly to get the reporting that we need, to provide the answers needed for the business to be able to navigate the SEOC.
Okay, so at the time when you started implementing Zoho Analytics, your biggest desire, biggest need was real-time analytics.
So that was back in 2020, which it was a difficult time. The status quo at that time is that we had 13 different countries, several with several verticals, each one with several verticals, and the reporting was Excel. We had Excel for everything. Each department had their own Excels, their own reports, and you had managers spending 2-3 hours each week to update all their reportings. If they had to create a new one, they could spend 1 week doing only that. People that were more valuable doing their actual managers' roles, or if they were working with interns, it was the intern's job, but the interns need to learn the real work and not just the reporting. So we require something for, hey, let's automatize this. We are losing too much time. We are losing work hours each week just to keep up. And it's not even that good, because at the end, you do it once a week. It's not real data. It's not data that you can use to make daily decisions. It's something that, for the grand strategy it works, but so what it happened is, we choose Zoho Analytics for several reasons. We saw different options, Power BI, of course, Tableau. We we're already using a little bit of Metabase, the open source BI tool. The engineers love it in the company, but it requires a lot of knowledge. And we choose Zoho Analytics for two reasons. First, the native integration with Zoho CRM, which was our CRM since 2015, and was where the big majority of our data was stored. Having a native integration with Zoho Analytics make it great. It was one headache less, and it made transition really fast and implementation super fast. And the second one was that the UI is so not simple, but easy to understand. Drag and drop, take it, put it, you have it, everything. It's really easy for me as a data engineer, as someone that has more knowledge, to teach any manager, even if he's new, if he has been there forever, teach, hey, just click here, click there, 3 clicks, you have it. The main challenge that I have teaching how to use our Zoho Analytics is to teach them our data structure, which is only for my company. So having that easiness make the decision pretty easy to make in that sense.
So basically you have achieved real-time reporting?
Yes.
Or near-time reporting at least. The reports that get generated look the same across regions.
Yep.
And the third one is that it doesn't take that long anymore.
That second thing that you said is really interesting because we didn't expect that.
Which one, the third one? Or?
The second one, the unifying the KPIs through regions. Because, of course, we had vision over the different reports, the Excel reports. But one thing is having vision and one thing is understanding how they work. And the thing that happened when I started migrating reports and getting the Excel reports and trying to replicate them into Zoho Analytics is I failed terribly doing that because I was not matching the same data that those reports were providing. And I realized that that was just because we didn't have a standard. We didn't have a standardization of KPIs and how to measure things. And each vertical, each country was measuring in their own way.
And so you're now telling me that the KPIs emerged? Or that they got established actively?
We had to actively establish the standard. We had to set up processes in place. If someone requires a change in the KPI, we need to investigate, okay, is this just because it's the thing that you think is the best? Or is this because there's a real reason? And if there's a real reason, of course, we're open to change and we're open to, but that's a thing that has to be, sorry, and I'm not sure if that's the right word in English, but propagated through the company. It has to be distributed through the company. So it requires a validation from our team to say, okay, yes, makes sense to make this change. No, it doesn't make sense to make this change. So yeah, that's a thing that we didn't expect at the beginning, and now it's one of our major advantages with Zoho Analytics and the BI tool, that is the standardization.
Tracking a little back to the selection, I mean, you mentioned a couple of names.
Yep.
Why did you go for Zoho?
Mainly the integration, having the integration between CRM and analytics directly from Zoho meant also that if we had any issue, we could report it to support, and they were going to deal with that. And that was way less resources and way less headaches about that. Aside from that, yeah, what I've explained a little bit before, the easiness to understand the UI make it really easy to teach it, and that's a thing that I think our management really appreciate because it lets them to cook their own reporting and dashboards.
Cooking their own reports. This is what usually happens. To the implementation project, did you do it yourself? Did you do it with the help of Zoho? Did Zoho do it, or did you even?
Zoho help us through the process, but I was the one in charge of doing it. As our information was mainly coming from the CRM, it was pretty easy. The longest step was the initial synchronization because, well, the CRM was really big. And from there, the team started migrating reports and trying to replicate. And that took more time, of course, but we did it ourselves. And what happened afterwards, after it was 1 year after, is that no one in the company was happy with, not with Zoho Analytics, with a BI tool. It was not providing the data that they required. And with some partner, it was a consultation company. It was only 2 meetings or something like that. And with help also of Zoho, we realized that our CRM data structure was really bare bones, and we needed something more. So we went through this process of transformation. We are still in that process of transformation in some verticals because it's really difficult to. It's a big project where instead of just talking about, hey, yes, we have the calls, we have the customers, and we have the sales.
Yeah.
No, we need more data. We need to have a better structure. We need to have a better data model that allow us to get more complex KPIs. Instead of talking just about calls and sales, we talk about opportunities. And that opportunity could have several calls and several sales. Yeah. So that you had there a link that you provide easily the reporting. Yeah. And instead of just saying, hey, I have this sale, no. That's a contract that you're signing with the customer. But that contract can have several items in it. So you need a level for those items because those items are going to have their own specifications, the commitment start date, the commitment end date. If you are getting power and gas, each one is going to have a different supply point ID. Things like that. What then it makes sense is if we want to get the best of our BI tool, we need to have the right data model. Because I don't make miracles. I mean, if data is not there, I can't make it appear from nothing.
Yeah, true. So looking at the adoption, the user adoption, basically. So it looks like this should have been a slam dunk, basically, because they got something that takes away a lot of load from them and gives them something they can work with.
Yep.
Is the assumption right, or
the thing is no? It's not, that was not the case. We had phases. The first phase was people don't want to change. Change costs them, and they are not. Everyone loves Excel. I mean, Excel is a stable in the industry for a reason. So that was the first step. Like, no, I have my Excel. Don't worry. And I had to go to them like, no, let me migrate it. It's going to be best for you. It's going to be best for everyone. That was the first step. The second step, trust. The people that were creating their own reports knew what they were doing, even if it was wrong. But for them, they knew the process. But the issue with a BI tool is they don't see that. So getting them to trust the BI tool, which mostly was more precise and more correct than their own reports, but they were not able to follow that easily. That was the second phase. And that's all something that when someone new comes into the company, I still feel that feeling of, but what are you measuring here? Why the data is not what I expect? No, it's not. Maybe it's not what you expected because you were wrong expecting that, or maybe whatever. And I have to explain, hey, yes, we are using these filters, we are using here. That require also a lot of documentation, a lot of training. So they knew how to. So sometimes happens that it's not an issue of the answer is wrong. It's an issue of that's not the right question. And that's also something that has to be taught. And that also has to do with the trust, because sometimes in providing, I'm getting the wrong question, but I know that's the wrong question. I provide the right answer. But then they don't trust because it doesn't match their expectations. So it was not a slam dunk, but with time and effort and communication and transparency, we were able for everyone to use it. And as soon as they were free to really work on more productive things, they realized like, this is a must. This is something that came to stay.
So now apparently in the course of this, well, you're working with Zoho Analytics because you had some Zoho before, which means you weren't totally unhappy with them?
No, we were pretty happy with Zoho CRM. We have always had the feeling that they hear our feedback and they implemented solutions for that, or in case they couldn't implement it because maybe it was too specific or whatever, at least they were interested in looking for workarounds and other options. I have a monthly meeting with them. One of my colleagues, the one in charge of CRM as it is, has also a meeting with them, a monthly meeting with them. So that relationship that we have built with Zoho makes that we are pretty happy, even though there's always rough points and there's always, I mean, when you're working with a tool 40 hours a week, you are going to experience the good and the bad, of course. I mean, it's only natural.
I usually compare this to a marriage. Don't really no ring on your finger, so, so I'm married. And I mean, after the honeymoon, there is usually something that comes up.
Yeah.
Which you really would like the partner to change. In the case of Zoho, which would that be?
So with Zoho CRM, we started as a, well, that was before I was in the company, but the company started as a startup, pretty small. It grew fast. And we adopted Zoho CRM when we were still small. We adopted Zoho Analytics when we were a little bit bigger, but we have grew since then and everything. And one thing that we felt that Zoho was a little bit behind was the tools for being a big business in Zoho. We felt that Zoho was maybe more meant for smaller business, where the out-of-the-box solution worked perfectly. But we were pushing the boundaries of Zoho. We were trying to get more complicated things to be done. We had the tools, but it required, I mean, we have a Zoho department inside the company. I'm part of that department. We are in charge of, we call it Zoho because it's the CRM, but we also do other things. It's more like a data department. And with Zoho Analytics, now that it has grown a lot, I have lost the count of how many dashboards we have, but maybe it must be around 150 or something like that. Each one with between 3 and 20 different reports inside. So it has gotten really big. The workspace that we work in has become an issue to control. And that's a thing that I talked with them. And I'm pretty happy because what I have seen in Zoho this year is that that's the way they are choosing. No, let's focus on developing more on the big enterprise, on how can we fit better. So yeah, I'm really happy and really excited. In the BA tool talk before, they have specifically announced some features that I have been asking them for a while. I had some workarounds. I could access the API and use the API to do some things. But yeah, it's always better if you have an out-of-the-box solution and you don't have to invest so much time.
Cool. Thanks a lot for this. Was enlightening.